Hi, hello, it's Pip here from queenpipcards.com. Thanks ever so much for tuning in today. Today I am showing you this gorgeous metallic embossed card. I wanted to design this background for my husband because he is a huge fan of ferns. He's even planted some outside my window, so I have something green to look at. Isn't that nice? So, because we have kind of like a little area around the back of our house which I look out onto, which has just got like a cushion box in it and some tools and, you know, the recycling bins and stuff. So he's given me some ferns so that I can have some greenery just outside my window, which is lovely. If I lean, I can see down the rest of the garden, but I thought that was really nice. So I thought, well, he loves ferns, so let's give him a card with ferns. And this is from the new Daisy Lane stamp set. So it's this image here. Nothing to do with daisies as far as I can see, because it's a fern. Although I guess some types of daisies may grow on these kinds of frondy leafy things, and it's just a good filler, really, to be honest, on a card. But I decided to use it as the main central feature and to go with some heat embossing. I haven't done some heat embossing for a while on here, so I thought I'd do that. And actually there's a fantastic sentiment in here which says, "The best moments in my life happen with you." So I wanted this to be a birthday card for him though, so I thought, well, I'm going to make it like this as anyway, because he likes ferns, so I can give him two cards, can't I? I can give him one that says this and one that says happy birthday. So if I hadn't already have made him his anniversary card, which you'll see next week, I'd have given this to him as his anniversary card, but there you go, we'll have to just, you know, save it for another time. I don't think he'll mind getting it twice. So I'm sorry that I've had to put grid paper down, but it is messy when we do embossing. So I'll be switching the camera on and off because, or going into sort of silent mode, because you don't want to hear the heat gun going on this. But I wanted to show you how I put it together. And if you've never done any heat embossing at all, then this is a great sort of starting point for you, because, you know, you get lots of practice on one card. So first of all, you need your embossing buddy, and the biggest mistake people make is they put it down too heavily and they get loads and loads of talcum powder all over their card. But if you literally just smooth it down, you get enough talc out to take away the oil and the grease that might be on the card from your fingers, and you just have a good, nice, clear piece of cardstock to work with. And it's just great because embossing powder sticks with everything, so you need to just have it where you want it and not where you don't. This is also a fabulous tool. This is a wooden pencil. No, it's a wooden spoon. It's not a wooden pencil at all. It's a wooden spoon. It came out of, I don't know, some salad pot or something, which I didn't use. It was on the side of a soup or a salad or something like that, and I thought, oh, that would be handy for my craft room. It's great for picking up embossing powder because it's not quite so static as a plastic spoon, and it's fabulous for holding your cardstock when you're doing this technique. So if you can find yourself a wooden spoon, you could use an ordinary wooden spoon from from the kitchen if you wanted to. So we're going to need Versamark ink, because Versamark ink is what we use to get a nice sticky image which the embossing powder will stick to. And then just stamp as you would normally, so ink it up as you would normally. You can tell it's a bit stickier than normal, which is good, that's what you want. And then I just started stamping, and we're going to do one colour at a time because that's the only way really to get good clean images. And just try and make sure that you don't touch your cardstock as much as possible, because it is your fingers mainly that causes people problems with embossing, because they say, oh, I get spots of embossing powder everywhere, and that's generally because you've put your finger down, and your finger has an amazing amount of oil in it. Even if you don't moisturise, it has an amazing amount of oil in it. So I'm going to pick this up very carefully from underneath and try to show you. Can you see there? Yeah, you can see that there. That's the Versamark ink that's on the card. Now I started with gold, and this is how I keep my embossing powders in these plastic tubs. I think I got them from Wilkinson's or somewhere like that. and I keep the pot in there, and then I put the card into the pot and then just shake on the embossing powder. You want it nice and covering so that you get a good, oh, and see, look at that, I've obviously missed that with my embossing buddy, and so now it's everywhere. Oh, how did I manage to do that? So if you have managed to do that, the best thing to do is to go back in with your embossing buddy and just take those off if we can. Luckily they're big chunks, so we can just brush those away. Oof. I better go over it better next time. Okay, so there we go. So that's now, just check you've got embossing powder everywhere on your image that you want it to be. Yeah, I think so. You can see that now. Yep. Okay. And then I'm going to put the heat gun on. So I'm going to cue music, and I'll be back in a moment. And can you see now? Hopefully you saw the magic happen of the embossing powder. Look how gorgeous and metallic that is. So I'm going to carry on and do that. Basically, you do exactly the same with every other colour that you want to put on. So I have I've done my gold. I've got a copper, which is going to come in here, and then I've got a silver. So I need to leave some space for my silver, but we can do that. And then I will disappear off and do the heat embossing, and then I'll come back. All right, so we're going to cue music again. Okay, so now we've done all of our embossing. That's great. The next thing we need to do is put this down onto Whisper White, and because I heated it quite quickly and because there's heat embossing all over it, it's actually quite flat. Sometimes they do buckle if you go too close for too long. You saw there that I was quite quick with my heat embossing. You don't want to heat the paper up too much, because that is what will make your cardstock bend. So we're now just going to adhere this, and if you use wet glue, it gives it a chance to bend and mould, and then you can stick it down firmly. So we're going to do wet glue, plus it gives you a bit of wiggle room on here. Okay, you see we've got a little bit of a bend, but we can bring that down, bring that in, make sure it's got a really good seal. There we go. And then I'm putting that onto a basic black card base, which I've just cut in my usual tent-fold style. There we go. Kind of know it's one of mine if it's a tent-fold. I always do tent-fold. So then the question is, do I want it that way up or do I want it that way up? Depends on where I'm going to put the... Yeah, I think I might do it that way up. Yeah, because I've got a few little marks here, so we can cover that up with the sentiment. So the sentiment is going to be a bit trickier this time, because I can't use the one that I've used on here because that's not really a birthday sentiment, but I did really like this shape. So this is the pretty label shape, and then this is the 1 3/8 scallop circle punch, and I liked that. I thought that was really good with the designer elements. It went with everything. So I hunted around to try and find a happy birthday that would fit within that punch, and I'm pleased to say I found two. So we have here one from the Darling Label set. Don't know if you can see that. We'll stamp it in a minute. And then this one. So the Darling Label set comes out of the punch, the tin. Okay, so this is out of the tin. It comes with a full set of stamps, and it should go with the little rounded corner square one punch, but it does fit on this one too, so that's good. And then this one is from a Beautiful Bouquet. which some of you might have in your stash already. And it has lots of good things like thanks a bunch, happy birthday, happy wedding day, and a congratulations. So it's quite a good all-round sort of stamp set. There goes my phone again. Must learn to put that on silent. So I'll just stamp these out and you can see these. Now this one I'm probably not going to send to Shaun, and it's a bit sad. Well, I could, but it says happy birthday friend, and I really like it because it's got my little crown on it. It wasn't designed for me, but it does have a small crown, so I really like that. But I don't really want to say happy birthday friend to Shaun, because although he is my friend, he's my husband. So I think I'm going to go with this one, which is from the birthday, the beautiful bouquet, because that will also fit. So we'll just see. Well, we'll see what they look like. But I do think that's a great one. I didn't realise it had a little crown on it until I stamped it out. So I'm going to save that one. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do this one in the circle, so you can see it just fits in that one, with a little bit of space at the bottom. But I'll show you the Darling label punch is what you should use for, so that's this one. That's what you should use for this happy birthday friend, and it just fits in there perfectly, side to side. Look at that. Does fit in there perfectly. That's lovely, isn't it? So that's a really nice happy birthday friend. If you've got the Darling label punch, it fits obviously in that one, but I did punch it out with a scallop earlier, so you can see it fits nicely in both. So you could use either of those for a happy birthday for a friend card for sure. But for Shaun, I'm going with this one, and I'm going to use my pretty label punch. Oh, sorry about the glaring, it's probably glaring quite a lot, apologies. Just to punch that out, put that down, and then that will fit on there. And what I thought was, actually this is quite nice, because on this one there was no room to put a silver one of these, so I thought we've got gold foil, we could have copper, these copper designer elements, but there was nowhere for a silver one, whereas on this one I can put a silver one right in the middle there. So that's what I'm going to do. So they come, you get masses in a stack of these. This is the designer elements, and they're really pretty. They're just very, I don't know, they could be flowers or they could just be elements, as they say. So there's no, you know, it works for both men and women, I think. They're not flouncy, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but to me it kind of means they're not over the top or too frou-frou, too girly to use with a man's card. You know, you could use them for both. So there we go. So 2 copper, a silver, and then a gold in the sense of the background, and that brings out the 3 colours that I've used in there. So that's why I wanted to do that. So I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals, and because these elements are quite they're quite weighty, you know, they're solid, so I'm going to use 3 dimensionals, no soggy middles here. Oh yeah, that's not bad. Okay, so that's good. And then we're going to glue this down. So it's both of our birthdays while we're over on the cruise, on the incentive trip this time. It just depends on what date they choose as to whether it lands on our birthday or just after our birthday or just before one of our birthdays, whatever. So I can take this with me on the ship, and then Shaun at least will have 1 card for his birthday while we're there. So yeah. He won't remember my card, I can assure you. I mean, well, he might do, actually, saying that. He might surprise me. I always remember when we went to Thailand and he completely forgot it was my birthday, and everybody else remembered it was my birthday apart from Shaun. And then he just turned round in the middle of the, like with the group of us, and went, "Oh, is it your birthday today then?" And he went, "Oh yeah, happy birthday." The faces on the guys and the girls was just amazing. There we go. So Yeah, but you know, I don't mind if he doesn't remember my birthday. He doesn't have to. So that's it. So basically the 2 ink pads that I used with the Versamark and the Memento, and apart from that it's just the Daisy Lane stamp set and whatever sentiment that you want. So it's a really good quick wow card. You know, I think it really does look amazing with all that beautiful embossing on it. So I hope you've enjoyed my Daisy Lane embossing card today. All about ferns, really. So thanks ever so much for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button, do all those kind of things. Leave me a comment. I love to read comments, and share the love. Send it to people if you think anybody else would like to see it. So thanks ever so much for watching. All the details on how to buy all of the stuff that you've seen here today is in the description below. And I will see you again next time at queenpipcards.com video tutorials. Thank you. Bye.